get these two areas, the two carotid arteries, they will be choked. And for that length of time, it is impossible for somebody to survive that, as that is the most sensitive area of somebody's neck. Now, why it went on that long period of time, we don't know. We have some new video that we'll be getting to in a minute. By the way, quote, at my request, the president said, the FBI and Department of Justice are already well into investigation to this very sad, very tragic death in Minnesota of George Floyd. The president has tweeted. The 4 Minneapolis officers involved in the arrest were fired on Tuesday, hours after a bystander's video showed an officer kneeling on the handcuffed man's neck, even after he pleaded that he could not breathe and stop moving. In a moment, the new video has just been released that we're going to get to. Matter of fact, we have it. All right. By the way, let's go to this new video that was just released. Put it up full screen. There's obviously no talking here, but you can see more from a different angle. This is not... Now, what this video is showing is Mr. Floyd is not in any way resisting arrest. We're going to follow this through, watch it, mark it, and see where exactly it's going to. Now, what's happening here is, you know, I'm a big supporter of law enforcement. I am. Everybody knows that. I say 99.9% of officers, they are good people. They protect and they serve their communities. The officer has his hands on his pocket with a knee on his neck. The lack of training here is breathtaking. There's no evidence right here in this part of the tape prior to the neck incident, and we'll go back to that video in a second. This is not a violent crime we're talking about. We're talking about some suspected forgery of some kind. Now, the other officer, if you look at him, next to him was standing up and just looking around, and, you know, this new video has audio. If we can get that up and play this, because this has audio on it as well. But we'll pull that up in a second. Let's go back to the other video, and I want to take a look again. Now, this went on for 8 straight minutes, again, what is the most serious, sensitive area, you know, of a person in terms of an arrest. From a martial arts standpoint, it is a targeted strike where one strike on the carotid artery could literally bring somebody, knock them right down to their knees, one shot. If you put somebody in a chokehold, it will, that's what they mean by the term choking out. We've heard the more drastic term, or you've seen it in the movies, it's called schlocking somebody out. That is where you would take the neck and literally of somebody and move it in 2 directions, and it does break their neck. It is one of the most single sensitive areas on the human body. For this period of time, how nobody saw it. Now, he's also, according to reports, saying that I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And it's critical at this point, we've got to be asking. I don't see any movement. I don't see any resistance. I don't see why the person's not cuffed, why the knee stays on the neck. I'm trying to be as fair and objective. I don't rush to judgment on this program. I don't think anybody should. We believe in the presumption of innocence. But I can also say, looking at videotape doesn't lie. And putting somebody's knee on somebody's neck is extraordinarily hurtful and dangerous from somebody's neck point. Now, the guy has black gloves on, so they're not in his pocket. And you can hear some of the video in the background there, some of the bleeping out of things. And, you know, when he touches the car, you can see he has his gloves on. So the question is, once you get somebody in handcuffs, why would this go on for any extended period of time? So these are the facts as we know them. George Floyd, a 46-year-old African-American man, as you can see there. And this is not an edited tape. This is one long extended video. And on Monday, after being handcuffed, pinned to the ground, you know, this is what we have. Let's bring in Dan Bongino with us. Dan, you love law enforcement like I do. You served in the Secret Service. Yeah. You train in martial arts as I do. Tell us your experience, you know, in terms of the neck, how sensitive the neck is, and how this can go on for this period of time. It makes no sense. No resistance that I see at all.
Yeah, Sean, this is it's really hard to watch. I've been tweeting about it for the past couple of days in conjunction with a couple other people here I work with at Fox as well. It's a tough video to watch. A couple of things about this. As you said before, there are two different types of chokes. One is almost exclusively banned in law enforcement. That would be a tracheal choke. When you cut off someone's trach, their windpipe, that's almost universally banned in law enforcement, really almost everywhere I know. What's happening here appears to be a carotid choke, which is a blood choke, which cuts off, as you said before, the carotid arteries, which restricts blood flow to the brain. It's very dangerous. I mean, after a long period of time, obviously restricting blood flow to the brain is going to result in potentially permanent damage, in this case, death. The problem I have here, Sean, is again, obviously, you know, the full story matters, but the video tells a story that you just can't run away from. When I was in the 7-5 precinct as a New York City Police Department officer, you know, the golden rule was when the cuffs are on and the subject is controlled, you know, the fight's over. That's it. And what I don't understand about this, and believe me, a lot of my law enforcement brothers I've been communicating with feel the same way, is I get it. Maybe there was that, you know, it's a stressful job. We all understand that. But after a minute, you know, 30 seconds to a minute, when the subject's contained and you have other officers on the scene, even though they're engaging in crowd control, it's clear this could turn into a potentially deadly situation with a blood choke lasting that long. And in this case, sadly, it did. I mean, this is really, really tough to watch.
You know, look, let me go back and give the details of this. I think the total time, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, was it 8 minutes that this knee is on this guy's neck?
I think it was 6 minutes, but you may be right. I don't want to challenge you. You may be, but it was either way. It was
I've seen
well
both
past
written.
The time.
I don't want to get that fact wrong. The bottom line is, if you get on somebody's carotid, you know, as I know, you and I have talked for hours and hours and hours about martial arts together, and your training as a Secret Service officer. I mean, one shot, a quick chop to somebody's or shot at somebody's carotid, it will drop them to their knees if you hit the right spot. A choke out is done. You and I have actually done arm drags into choke holds, and if you get both carotid, I could drop you in 15 seconds and you will be passed out. True or false?
Yeah, it's not. No, and not even. You're actually 15 seconds is if you pinch off both carotids in a full either head and arm choke or an actual choke, it's not even 15 seconds. I mean, I encourage you to watch any kind of a jiu-jitsu competition and you can see that. I think in this case, the only reason this guy even survived, Mr. Floyd here, as long as he did, Sean, is because one side of his body's on the ground and only one side of his neck is. He wouldn't have even lasted. That's what's so disturbing about watching this, is he wouldn't have made it that long if his head wasn't on the concrete on the other side. I mean, that's what's so insane about watching this.
Hey, all right, stay right there. Don't leave Dan Bongino. We're going to bring in former NYPD Commissioner Bernie Carrig, who knows a lot about tough situations. Arresting is also the head of prisons.